Hello, Dateables! Welcome to another episode of the Dateable podcast, where it is our mission, Julie and I, to help you figure out why people do the things they do, why they say the things that they say, and then how you can navigate it all in this world called modern dating.
Whew, that's a lot.
We come full circle.
I know. And we are taking a trip back in time. We are traveling back to 2004 when the book He's Just Not That Into You was released. We have Greg Behrendt, who is the author that, I'm sure pretty much everyone has heard the phrase, he's just not that into you. It started with Sex and the City. He was a writer on the show, became a book, became a movie. And I feel like it was like the words of wisdom that many women listen to. And I would say debatably, we could argue that now it just should be they are just not that into you, because I think the same thing applies to all genders, all sexualities, all of that.
We loved this movie so much when it came out, simply because it gave you so many answers to why is this person doing things this way or said this? Because often in dating, what we're trying to do is win the other person over, but we're ignoring all the signs and they're very clear. And frankly, people are pretty honest on the first couple of dates. So this movie was eye-opening for me because by the end of it, I was like, that's it. I'm wasting my time with people who are not into me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely like the movie, but in the Sex and the City, I'm a huge Sex and the City fan, but yeah. I feel like when Miranda got that, like, intel from Carrie's boyfriend at the time, Berger, for all the Sex and the City fans, her mind was just blown because she's like, I have wasted so many hours, like analyzing and overthinking and debating if someone liked me or not, or if they were going to call, if they were going to make the next move, all that stuff, where it could be just that simple. If you take what someone's saying or what they're not saying, I think that's the key. The inaction is just as important as the action at face value.
And in this interview, we get to hear it from Greg himself, because did you know that Greg is the person behind this book, behind this saying? Can you believe it? And he is a hetero man who's been married for many years. He was a writer on Sex and the City. He's the one that came up with this idea that was so simple and intuitive to him, and to the women around him were just so mind blown by the entire thing. So it's really funny to hear it from his perspective.
But, I feel like there is the simplification, but there's clearly a lot of nuance in life, which is why we have the whys and why we have the hows. But we had a big week last week, and I feel like I'm just like kind of taking a breather now. But we sold out our Finding Your Person program, so we're very excited. We're super pumped to work with all the people that signed up. We have 50 folks in the program, which was our max capacity. And, we're ready to go and help them on their journey, that adventure.
That was a whirlwind of a launch, because we had been prepping for this for years, but we never knew how it was going to be received until launch week came. And I think it makes us so happy to see so many of you are excited to be part of this program. But also for those of you who are still debating, maybe want to take some time first before joining, you still have a chance, because if you go to findingyourperson.com now, you can join the next wait list, and we'll let you know when we open up the program again. So you didn't miss your chance completely, but also congrats to all the people who joined this one, because you got in right on time.
The reality is we're not quite sure when it's going to launch again. I think part of it is we want to run through this program at least once with the folks and, learn from it too. But I think just getting in the loop, because it did sell out relatively quickly. I mean, we had to pull in our launch date. We had to pull in our date because we just had too much demand. So if you are on the edge or you're not on the wait list yet, you can still join. Findingyourperson.com. It's all there, except you unfortunately cannot sign up anymore.
But it's okay. Just get on our list anyway. You'll get all the good stuff. We promise. Some of the other fun things just been happening is, I think this is spurring up a lot of debate on what does finding your person even mean? We've gotten a lot of DMs and emails, people thinking, I'm really interested in this program because I am really interested in finding my person. We put up a poll on Instagram that asked, would you rather find a connection or would you rather find love? And 90% of people said, I'd rather find a connection. And I think that's very telling because love is almost this idea, but connection is something very tangible. And until you find connection, you can't really find love yet.
I saw some of the responses saying they were one and the same, and I'm not quite sure I agree with that. Because I think you can have connections, to, I don't know, I guess it's just, maybe it's how you define love. Because I think you can love people that you don't feel connected to, and you can feel connected to people that you don't necessarily love.
I also feel like love takes a while to get there, but connection can happen pretty fast. And I think love is the next step to a stronger connection. So I think, yes, they're one the same once you're at that stage. But in the beginning, I think a strong connection is definitely the most important thing.
Absolutely. There was also another really interesting debate on Instagram and Facebook. We put up a quote around like, find someone that is obsessed with you.
Yeah.
I think it says like slightly different. That sounds super creepy when I say it out loud.
No, I think that is it.
Was
but
it?
It is creepy when you say it out loud.
Okay, you deserve someone who is utterly obsessed with you.
Obsessed with you.
So I hear what people are saying. You don't want someone that you need to get restraining orders on. I don't think anyone's saying that that's a good situation. We all want someone that has a life of their own also. Like, all that's a given. I think where the sentiment of it is coming from, that I think that resonated with a lot of people, because there were the people that kind of commented like that, but I would say also got a ton of people being like, hell yeah, like this is what I want, tons of like interaction compared to other posts we put on and likes, etc. And I think the sentiment that resonates with me is someone that like just feels lucky to freaking be with you, like the same way that you feel lucky to be with them. That's what I think it means. Not restraining order. No one's advocating for that here.
It's a fuck yes mentality. And I think we say obsessed in a way that is a very trendy way of saying, not like obsessed like crazy, but someone who is just so into you. But it has to be reciprocated. You also have to be obsessed with them too. I think that's what is the missing sentence.
Yes.
It can't be a one-way street.
No. And I think it needs to be healthy too. I think the point of like, it can't be like, yes, I want someone who thinks I'm their world for sure, but they also need to have other planets orbiting too. It can't just be me either.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see it just a one-way obsession, and that would just not be good. That's why there's so many movies being made about that. But I think ultimately when you have these insecurities about someone you're dating because they're not texting you back or you're not hearing from them, no matter what's going on in their life and what their intentions are, it's impacting you in a way that's negative, right? So you don't feel like they're that into you. So why would you want to be with someone and give someone the time when they're just not as into you as you are into them, right? Why wouldn't you just move on?
Absolutely. And I think like I don't know, I actually went to a bachelorette party this weekend in Palm Springs, which was super fun to, I feel like I haven't been out. We went to a gay club. That was super fun. But I think one of the revelations I had, we were talking about it, and this is a friend I've known since I moved to San Francisco. So, coming on 12 years now. And wow. I knew her before her current partner that she's getting married to, but they've been together for 7 years. And like on one side, I totally see 7 years because they've built, a foundation and a relationship and a partnership, but then also in a life. But then the other side, I'm like, wow, where did 7 years go? That feels like it has been not that long, But it served for me was a real kind of a reminder that it takes time. Like, I think sometimes we're trying to rush everything. And the reality is, it takes time to get to know someone. It takes time to build a life with someone. I think the older you get, sometimes it can happen faster just because you are more comfortable with like who you are and what you want and all that stuff. But I also don't think it means that like you have to run at like rampant speed either. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking your time, and the fact that like this is another person that you're getting to know, and sometimes it just takes time. And I think in dating, we just don't give enough time, and that's what makes it hard, because there's just so many choices and so many people out there. And I'm not saying like if someone's treating you shitty, you should give it more time, but I think if it's not like, you know, I'm in love after, you know, even month 6, I feel like that's okay. Like, I think that could grow as long as, you know, the connection is there and you're seeing the progression.
Yeah, I had this, we had a very tumultuous conversation with my mom. So my mom came over for dinner, my mom and my dad, and you can tell she was working up her nerves to ask us something in the middle of dinner. So my boyfriend and I are, you know, finishing up the end of dinner. We're having a great conversation, and you just see her take a deep breath, and I was like, oh shit, here it comes. And of course, it's the question of, when are you guys going to get married and have kids? And I jokingly asked her, I said, Mom, you can only choose one. Which would it be? And she said, I want both. I want both. And she was very adamant that she wanted these things. So anyway, it all worked out because it helped us have this open discussion. And something I realized was this. In relationships and dating, yes, it's good to look forward to something and have milestones, but you can't have your future disrupt your present. If this anxiety over a future milestone is ruining what you currently have, then you need to stop worrying about that future milestone. And I told her that, and I said, you are bringing in the future to interrupt something really great in the present right now. So I like this idea of time and being on your own time. As long as you see progression and you're building towards something, it doesn't matter what those milestones are, and don't let that pressure you. So now she's like, I feel good about that. You know, she's like, I feel good about that conversation. I'm so glad.
So were you able to think up that response in the moment? Because I feel like I would just have gotten defensive.
Yes. So the way I told that story was fast forwarded that night. That night.
Wait, that sounded very chill for the
that
setup.
night, we didn't even finish our dinner. My parents packed their shit and they just left because they felt so awkward. My boyfriend's washing dishes and he just looks so irritated. And I'm irritated by everyone because I'm like, I'm stuck in the middle here. My parents want one thing. My boyfriend doesn't want one thing. I'm in the middle. Nobody's asking me what I want. So I took a night off and I went into the guest room and I just thought about things and had a really great conversation with my partner the next day and also with my mom. And that's when I came up with this because I was very honest about the fact that I understand that she's looking forward to these things. One, because she's retired. But two, I think, you know, as a mom of when you're a mom and you have a daughter, these are the things that you want for your daughter. You want her to be protected. You want her to feel safe, especially when they no longer, you know, they're no longer capable of doing these things. So she's worried about that day when she is not capable and who's going to take care of me. And I told her, as long as we can take care of each other right now in the present, let's enjoy this, because if we don't, we're wasting your time trying to think about this future scenario that nobody has fucking control over. So I think I talked it through with her, and I think I got through to her. I really hope so, because she promised me that was the last time she was going to bring it up. Ever.
You know, I think you're in a hard position too because you don't have siblings.
Yes.
I feel like because there is, okay, like I'm sure there is this protection piece, but I think there is a little bit of a selfish piece. And I've talked to my mom about this too. Like, I think it's even hard for her that my brother and sister-in-law don't live super close by. Yeah. So there is a little bit of a selfish piece. And I'm not saying it's selfish in a bad way. I think it's just human nature that, like, if it's kind of like when all your friends are getting into relationships or all your friends are getting married, all your friends are having kids. For them, it's all their friends are having grandkids, and they get to be with their grandkids, and it brings up that stuff for them. And I think that's totally natural. That's totally natural. And it's hard for you because you have no one else to deflect it.
Oh, you totally get me, Julie. It is so true. Sometimes I wish I just had an older brother or sister,
right? That did it. Yeah, exactly.
And my parents wouldn't give a shit what I'm doing. You know?
Yeah, my mom does not give me any of that pressure, which I think she just wants me to be happy. But I think also, like, I think she thinks I, like, can take care of myself, which I think is good. And I think some of that is generational and changes of women and, you know, what's possible. And maybe some of it is just even giving your mom that mindset too. Like, I have this great partner, but I also am pretty freaking capable on my own, you know? I've done all this stuff on my own. Like, it's not like I'm gonna be, you know, incapable if something were to happen.
Yeah, she did say something. She's never watched Sex and the City, but she did almost quote the show when she said, "You spend your lifetime celebrating other people's life choices. When's it going to be your turn?" And I remember that episode on Sex and the City, and it made me think, well, my life choices could also be a freaking big ass 40th birthday that I never threw for myself, and I will have a guest list and a registry. So it's just that we're conditioned to think it has to be the wedding and the baby shower and all that stuff that we have to celebrate. Well, there are other reasons to celebrate life too.
Yeah, I think I read a study that, like, people that had children, it was like the happiness level of people that had children versus ones that didn't. And, you know, it actually was that people that didn't have children were more consistently happy, but then people that had children had higher highs and lows.
Oh, yes.
So, you know, like, they could have intense joy, but they also could have, you know, intense stress and not happiness, you know? So I think it's just a different lifestyle, and I don't think one is right or wrong. It's just different life choices, and I think we need to celebrate that more. Like, celebrate even, like, I think the Sex of the City where Carrie did her own registry for herself.
It is so
with
badass.
The shoes. But it's true. It's like, why should people only celebrate these societal expectations? Like, it should just be celebrating whatever decision you make.
Fuck yes. I'm celebrating next year. It won't be my 40th. It'll be my 41st. But a better reason to celebrate is my 41st fucking birthday, okay?
Yes.
It's gonna happen.
We're going to Vegas, right?
Or, I don't know, somewhere better, Julie.
Yeah. I mean, it's your birthday. We'll do whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
But I really want to go to Vegas. Is that what you're saying? Like, let's do it. Vegas.
Yeah, I think we should do Vegas now. No, I think it's going to be good. And we are going to celebrate this week. UA and I will be reunited in SF, which will be phenomenal. Like we said, we've been busting our ass to do this program. And we're excited to just, go to dinner and celebrate tomorrow night.
And then our partners get to meet.
Oh,
later
yeah.
in the week too.
We're gonna have a double date.
Double date. We'll let you all know how it goes. Maybe we'll post some photos. We'll see. We'll see how we're feeling.
I don't know if my partner would like that. Just saying up front.
He's like,
we'll like put like an emoji over.
Yeah,
him.
I was gonna say we can put emojis over their head. It's fine. Like they're celebrities.
So basically, it's you and I in a photo.
Exactly with emojis, but it's good. It'll be good. I've had so many great life conversations this week because I've caught up with girlfriends who recently had babies, and they've said the same thing as you, Julie. It's the highs are really high and the lows are really fucking low, and the lows get to a point where they didn't even realize they could go that low. So I get it. This is everything in life, and this is something I heard recently was live in a state of impermanence. Just know that everything is sort of changeable and everything is changing and evolving. So whatever situation you're in right now, it's going to change. It's never going to be like this forever. So when you're in your highs, know that it doesn't stay there. When you're in your lows, know it doesn't stay there. Know that when you're anxious about someone not texting you back, know that it passes. And if you're going through a heartbreak, it's also impermanent. It's all going to pass, and we're in a constant state of change. And I think that is just so liberating to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm. And I think with this episode too, what I love about this is, I think I think sometimes we say things are shades of gray and they shouldn't be this black and white. But I do think if someone's not showing up for you, it almost is that black and white. Like there's other parts of relationships that are shades of gray. But I think the basic, the basic showing up, especially in the early stages, that shouldn't be. That is very black and white. Someone, is into it or they're not. And if they're not for whatever reason, like I feel like we're people's PR agents. We always talk about that.
Always.
Oh, they're too busy or they just got out of a relationship. Then let them be busy. Let them deal with their heartbreak. And if they're ready, then they'll come back around when they're ready to give it their all. I think that's so much better than, taking crumbs, like the breadcrumbs that someone's giving you when they're just not fully in.
Yeah. And know that it's not personal. It may have nothing to do with you. It may just be whatever they're going through right now. And it just does not involve you in the picture. And that is okay. And it's freeing to know that. So you can move on.
I talked about this like with our Finding Your Person program. But when I was back in Boston over COVID in the wintertime, I met someone virtually. And we talked on the phone, like we talked on video chat, we talked on text like all the time. I like thought I found my person. I think I like texted you this, which sounds so dumb in retrospect, but I think a lot of people went. I think a lot of people went through this with virtual. I think all virtual can really fuck with you. That's my opinion. But I think I really thought that there was something, and we were counting down the days till I got home back to San Francisco. He's like, I'll meet you at the airport with balloons. Like, it was this whole thing. And at first I was like, I've never even met this person. Like, you don't have to do that. And then he just fell off the face of the universe. And he just became too busy. Work was too busy. There were family issues, like everything. And it's like if someone can't find an hour to meet up with you when they claim they want to so badly, they just don't want it that bad. And maybe there was something going on in his life. Like, I just don't know, obviously. But I think where, like, kind of netted out with it was like, okay, if things change for you, like, let me know, but I'm moving forward. And I guess, spoiler alert, he never let me know. So I guess that was...
Well, you never met up, right?
No, we never met up.
Which is the crazy part.
We never met up. No.
You were already developing feelings for this person. It was
And it seemed reciprocal, too. It seemed very reciprocal, at least through there, It was crazy. But where I'm going with this is with my current partner from day one, it was just easy. Like, it was none of this, And I think until you see that, it puts everything else in perspective, that if someone really wants, one, they're ready for a relationship, and two, they like you, they're going to make it happen. Because they want to make it happen. There's no excuse.
Yep. And it shows when you're ready to find your person. I know I've been through phases where I thought, oh, this seems too easy. And I feel like there should be more of a chase. I feel like I should be guessing more. Then I knew that I was not ready to be in a relationship. So a lot of this is not just you learning about the other person. You're also learning about yourself. So be curious and observe how you're dealing with the situation.
Okay, before we get into the episode with Greg, quick announcements. Love in the Time of Corona. That is our Facebook group. That's the public group. We have @Dateable Podcast is our Instagram handle. And then we have the Sounding Board, which is our premium community where we have our weekly sound offs now that are guided discussions with our host team. We're talking about like overcoming FODA. We have another one about communication, especially in times of conflict. Traveling with dating. There's a lot of good ones on the roster in the next 3 months. And the team that leads these are freaking amazing. We also have office hour chats with UA and I, so you can drop in, ask us your burning dating questions, get that feedback. So it's great. I mean, everyone that's in the community are just incredible people. They were the ones that did the meetup in San Francisco a couple weeks ago. Probably heard about that. Definitely get in on the fun. So dateablepodcast.com/soundingboard.
Also, if you weren't able to get into the course or you were just curious and you weren't able to make that commitment yet, Sounding Board is a great segue into it all. I think it's a great way to get to know the community. It's a subscription, so you can go month to month. And also you can just see the topics that we cover and the discussions that we cover. So it will give you a good idea of what the course could possibly be about.